All right, welcome in Valero Texas Open betting and DFS preview. We'll do a bit of a Masters update. Busy, hectic weekend. A lot happening in the golf world this weekend. What's going on, Malnati Sandhu? How's it going, Bryan?
It's going well. I always get excited for these weeks when the narrative is not clear. These are my favorite weeks. I'm excited to break down Valero.
You mean the 200,000 view Twitter thread that says around the green doesn't matter here? The AI
I've heard
generated Twitter thread that's just can be disproven by spending 1 second on the homepage of Data Golf. Literally, like, don't even take it from me. It's not even like I promise I wouldn't get worked up about this. And here I am, Andy getting worked up about this. Cash is at minus 500 in the first minute of the show. Yeah, don't even take it from me. It's not even like an I'm smarter than you type of thing. This is literally statistically can be disproven by spending 1 second on Data Golf, like the homepage of the Valero Texas Open. And you will see that around the green is extremely predictive here. This is not a golf tournament that has even a higher predictive value than the average PGA tournament. I'm sorry, continue.
I like it when it's unclear and muddy because it's not just that. I've heard other things that I don't agree with as far as how the course plays. Anyways, my weekend was great. I spent most of it watching the Houston, or what used to be the Houston Open. I don't really like what they did with that golf course very much. I know it's not completely in their control, but you know.
Yeah, I got killed. I got killed on winning score. And it was my own fault. Like there was no, after talking to Steve and deliberating with all the other smart people in our Discord, the edge that we may have had on the Houston Open winning score was nowhere near TPC Sawgrass, where it was just like, I did stat. I'm happy to talk about Project Hail Mary at the end because I have some thoughts. Have you seen it, Bryan?
I have. We can definitely talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. You may be surprised. I don't mean to be a hater, but I was not as much of a fan of that movie as what I think public consensus is. And I'll talk about some of the reasons why that is at the very end of the show. Yeah. We'll get to the important stuff first. But yeah, I just kind of got cocky because we've been doing really well with weather in the Discord. And I definitely thought that I always do a terrible job of articulating this because I think of it as under par. But I actually took the over 263.5 or whatever it was, thinking that the winning score would be worse than minus 16.5. And of course, Gary Woodland shot 21 under, Nikolai Højgaard shot 17 under. So I can't even really use the excuse that if it wasn't for Gary gaining 20 strokes on the field, the bet would have won. We kind of got the scoring average that we were looking for, and guys just really, really separated at the top. Woodland gaining about 19.5 to 20 strokes on the field usually happens about once a year. But I got killed because I had a really good week with matchups and my positionals. DFS, not so much, had way too much Brooks and Wyndham Clark, but a much better core. But no, we are back to the drawing board this week with winning score prop. It's at 15.5, and there's a lot to talk about with the weather this week. It's really, really interestingly like wind affected tournament. We've seen big wave edges here in the past. The forecast is pretty spicy. So definitely a week to pay attention to. Steve's course report in the Discord as always.
So I want to say one more thing. Shout out to Memorial Park. The other reason that they probably didn't let it get too out of control is because they want it to be a showcase for the LPGA major they're having there very soon, which will be a very good watch. I'm very excited to see how that course plays in major conditions for the LPGA Tour. So shout out to them for, putting them first for once.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that they like try and make it hard, because I can tell you my home golf course in Los Angeles is hosting an LPGA event in a month, and I'm just going to say it's going to play easier for the best ladies in the world than it does for the members, which I don't understand at all. Again, that's another tangent that I don't need
Yeah.
to get into. Anything on Tiger you want to say before we get into golf? It's kind of the news of the week, and I already shared some stuff on the Sunday pod, but wanted to give you the opportunity to touch on it before we jump into Valero.
Not much to say, honestly. I hope he gets the help he needs, and that's kind of how I'll put it. I don't think I
I
can
think
say
that's a
anything very nuanced on the matter.
I think that's a very and hey, guess what? Let's just let's normalize not needing to have a take, right? Like how many people could have done would have maybe if you asked them wish they could have had that back, this weekend. And there
Yeah,
were some great takes that I saw. There were some funny
yeah,
takes. There were some smart takes, but hey, you know, if you want to just like sit with something for a second, wait on
yeah.
it for a
Totally
day
fine.
on Twitter,
Gonna
you're
do
never
it.
going to regret not tweeting. You may regret tweeting in the moment. I have before.
Yeah,
Everyone's been guilty of it. I'm not immune to that by any means, but I never regret the tweets I don't send.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
anyway,
If you thought about it and deleted it, you probably got what you needed out of it. And it's
yeah,
kind of a lesson I'm learning the older I get. So, Valero Texas Open.
yeah. Um, was there anything? Usually we do a bit of a recap of like the winning formula at Houston,
I
and
didn't
it,
look today.
yeah, I did a little bit, and it was really chalky again, man. Like
Yeah,
if you look at I'm going to pull up, I'm going to pull up the winner in would you rather look at
18.
$10 18 max or $100 single entry?
I want to see what the show me the single. That'll kind of be fun
I'll give you the
because I think
single because
most
I
people
have it.
play that.
I'll give you the single because I have it right up anyway.
Okay.
$10,000 this week for the single.
Okay.
Ooh. Jake Knapp, Kitayama, Adam Scott, Sahith Theegala, Gary Woodland, Yellamaraju. Knapp was really chalky. I bet Knapp
Right.
faded him because of ownership. Kitayama, I cored. That was quite the ride. That was just
Until it wasn't.
wild experience on all front. He was in our Kitayama was in our lineup, I think, as well with
Yeah.
Windy,
Gerard.
Gerard. Yeah, we had a 4 of 6 with Windy.
Valero Texas Open, TPC San Antonio.
Oh shoot, that's mine.
No
Sorry,
worries.
guys.
No worries.
My
Man.
YouTube just started
No, I'm
playing.
like looking around. I didn't have hockey.
No, it was me.
It
It was me. No, so anyway, I would say about like 4 out of those 6 pieces were pretty popular plays. Like
Yeah.
Woodland and Yellamaraju were 2 of the higher owned guys in the low 7K range. I bet both of them in matchups, faded them in DFS, and they came through big time.
So just off the top of my head, what did he try to do to get different then? Did he
Probably
not?
Adam Scott, but that
Oh,
lineup
okay.
had about
That's a lot of
I don't have
ownership.
the
I mean, it's a
ownership.
lot of ownership, but
It's a lot of ownership. It's
yeah.
a lot of ownership. I mean, I can give you a macro trend. I just think that
I was gonna come on and say the same thing. Go ahead,
even
though.
even despite even despite the AI stuff, that's really bad faith. I still think that this year I've noticed better decisions around chalk. Like for example, Sahith Theegala last week, who I played, and I like Sahith. And Sahith was very popular in the higher stake stuff. He was really popular. I thought Sahith was a good play through and through. And I think in a prior year, people would have looked at what he did at Innisbrook, where he was terrible and missed the cut by a lot and was a very popular play at Innisbrook and screwed a lot of people, myself included, and they wouldn't have gone back. It would have been a flop flag. And I don't even think like flop flag really exists in the way that it used to, because people aren't looking at the types of things that they're looking at in the past. They're looking at data golf projections and, like some of the, I think there's some really bad projections out there, but I think for the most part, like, the general DFS player is looking at better things than they were a while ago. And so my frustration the last couple of weeks where I've had really good betting cards and I've said to myself, well, I'm going to fade these guys that I bet that are popular plays, that are great course fits, that are obvious course fits. I'm going to fade them in DFS because they're going to be popular. And that's kind of been a mistake the last couple of weeks where I've had like a lot of success picking the right guys to bet outright, matchups, positionals, and have kind of used that as a way to go different in DFS. And hasn't been great. Hasn't been great the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's not, I would say it's not to the extreme of like the NFL or NBA or anything like that, but maybe the chalk's getting better. Like in certain areas, it might just be that like chalk is a little different than what we used to think of it being in golf.
I agree.
Where
undeniably correct.
I will look at some winners. I just didn't today because of work and stuff, but yeah, I would be surprised if there's not a lot of teams that weren't very high up that had Minwoo Lee that had. I mean, there will be ways that they could have.
If you think about it, like
when Gary Woodland wins, you can fit everything,
right?
And price is
right,
price,
and Minwoo Lee, Knapp, and Minwoo Lee, Knapp, and Goddard were the three highest on the slate, and they all finished top 6.
Yeah.
How often does the top 3 highest owned on the slate all finish top 6?
Yeah, it's part of that, but it's also part of who your winner is. So when your winner's that price, anything goes. It's not that you're necessarily priced out of picking the winner. It's did you pick the winner or not? Whereas like when a high price player is winning, then the builds that you could use with him are not restrictive. They're more varied. But I guess like as long as the other way around, as long as you have the 7,400 piece, you can fit anything. And all you need is a bunch of made cuts. And it just kind of opens everything up for most other players who have Gary Woodland.
Right. So, I mean, not that our lineup wasn't chalky too. We just got killed by the 8K range again.
Yeah.
Just crazy because if you look at our $33 single entry that we made last week on the show, and this is single entry ownership, we have Kitayama at 10%. Kitayama actually kind of got squeezed. Nikolai at 22%. He finished second. Gerard at 21%. Wyndham Clark at 16%. A lot of people jumped on Wyndham. I think we're at ISN partially responsible for that. Stefan Jaeger at 18%. He finished T28. Should have been a lot better. He fell down the leaderboard quite a bit on Sunday. He was top 12 heading into Sunday.
I did not have him at 18%.
18.8 in single entry. Wow. And then we had Denny at 1% who finished T12, which was the nuts. Denny was sick. Now, you could have swapped out Kitayama pretty easily. Could have swapped out Kitayama pretty easily. Maybe you would have had $100 to make up for it. To gotten in a nap or gone up a little bit higher to Goddard up. You Kitayama over Nap, Goddard up, and Minwoo was a mistake, but it's really just been like there have been guys in the 8K range the past 2 weeks that have been really killing us. I didn't play Gerard in DFS. I bet him. I saw that ownership coming up, but I did play a lot of Windy, and
I stuck to my guns on Gerard from Monday, and I was like, I don't care. This is the chalk I want.
Windy's now fucked me 2 weeks in a row, big time.
I saw you in what, Saturday or Sunday, when you were like, I think I'm done, and I was like,
Yeah.
I
think I'm kind of like him at the Masters if he's cheap. But anyway, let's talk about the Valero. So I just want to go over this weather really quickly. I'm just using the San Antonio International Airport. Put in the chat if you have a better wind finder. I haven't checked with Steve yet, but
he has the one that he knows.
Yeah,
it's pretty good, and I can't remember where it is.
But what's interesting about this wind report is there could be some rain on Thursday morning that could cause a delay. And then it's super windy, like gusts 25 miles per hour. It's not quite as windy as what we saw last year over the weekend, but like 33 mile per hour gusts on Sunday morning, 31 mile per hour gusts on Sunday, April 5th at 10 a.m. Like, wind's going to play a massive, massive factor in this tournament. We're a little too early on for me to determine like whether or not there's going to be a wave edge, but wind's going to play a major, major role in this tournament. And so let's kind of, I guess it's kind of like make our lineup, assuming, because there's nothing in the weather forecast right now that is pointing super clearly to one side or the other. But when you see something like this, where does your head go first when you see like a very variable weather forecast from a strategy standpoint?
I thought I was coming into this week building a couple lineups, but this is a tournament where I kind of think like, I don't care what the weather says, it's 50-50, on either side. So like if I find players that I like enough on either side, specifically down below, I'll do that and live with the consequences. Sometimes there's a wave edge that everybody dives into, and then there's always merit to go on the other side, especially when you talk possible delays. Combine that with the fact that this course has major question marks about what it actually demands year to year. Peter Malnati's Sandhu Green.
Yeah,
that means that he's valued.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't have question marks about what I'm looking for.
No, I don't. I know you don't, but everybody else is like, what's going on here? And I'm like,
yeah, I feel very good about my course breakdown. And I really think like a couple, really, to recap from the Sunday pod, like a couple like important angles to take. Number one, the rough is going to be thicker this year. We had Steve email the guy, the superintendent. We're going to have 3-inch rough compared to 2.25. That's probably going to increase the missed fairway penalty. It probably is going to increase the importance of off the tee altogether. And it's more likely than not actually going to have a bigger help on distance as opposed to accuracy, because these fairways are so narrow that even the most accurate players, it's a coin flip to hit them. So I think distance is a good angle. And with all of this wind, like the greens and regulation percentage is so low, like you're going to need a good short game here. And I think a lot of people get like really, really caught up in like, I think one of the biggest misnomers in golf betting and DFS is people look at what the winner did and use the winner to determine what the course fit is. And that could not be farther from like how you want to look at the variance decomposition of a course as a whole. When somebody wins the tournament, they are experiencing an extremely high tail outcome in a certain stat. They're either spiking like crazy with their irons or their putter, In some cases, both. They're leading the field in a stat like driving accuracy on a golf course when many other people are trying to hit fairways. And so I think a lot of people look at this golf course and are like, well, Corey Connors won here. How could short game matter? And it's like, that doesn't make any sense at all, because what actually happened is you probably just got a decent Corey Connors week where he was able to tread water around the greens and experience a tail outcome in the statistics that he performed well on, but how around the green moved the actual leaderboard and what predictive value it had going into the tournament is going to be far, far more informative to building DFS lineups, at a full field level and really trying to figure out the players that have the highest likelihood to finish top 20 and make the cut. The guy who wins is experiencing a tail outcome, right? So anyway, I think around the green with this win is going to be tremendously important.
Yes.
I think that sorry, I just got an email reminder on my taxes. I got to get on that. I think that the thicker rough is going to add kind of an importance angle of distance this week. And I also think that how you've performed at this golf course is very important. It's a very high correlation of course history. It's actually the third highest correlation of course history on the PGA Tour. So I'm looking for guys that have played well at this golf course in the past as well. So let's build this lineup. Yep. Who do you have interest in the 9K range? Nikolai is out, by the way.
He is withdrawn. Okay. Yeah. That does make things easier for me. I played around with a lot of different builds today, and I think the thing that sticks out to me first and foremost is I don't know why Morikawa is cheaper than Spieth, Siwoo Kim, Robert McIntyre. I do understand he's not a perfect course fit. I loved Matsuyama. That was probably the first name that popped into my head after listening to you yesterday.
Okay, good, because I love Matsuyama too. I don't like Morikawa here, but I do like Matsuyama.
Morikawa is just like, I don't understand the price thing. I think you're getting a discount because people are.
I thought he was cheap. I thought he was cheaper than I thought too. I'm surprised he's $500 cheaper than Bobby Mack.
Yes, who I don't mind either. I like Robert McIntyre. If you're telling me this is going to play extremely hard, I like it. Mm-hmm. But I think probably my favorite name to start with is Matsuyama off the top. I like him a lot. I think he does all the things you want to do well here. Great play. If he's
let's put Hideki in. He's got maybe the best short game in the entire field. He's a great approach player. He's played well at this golf course in the past.
The man knows his way around a bunker shot.
Yeah, and even if you think that off the tee is going to matter a little bit more than in years past, I still overall have a pretty below average weight on off the tee here compared to other golf courses. Just not a golf course that's been super predictive off the tee because accurate guys can't really hit the fairways and longer players often struggle to find an advantage here as well. I'm very comfortable with putting Hideki in.
What do you think of Henley?
I like him a lot. Now, what I was going to say is, I was going to say, if you asked me to choose who else goes in the 9K range, I would give you, there are 4 guys that I really like.
Okay.
Fleetwood, Henley, Spieth, and Mav McNealy.
I bet Mav before I came on the show with you.
You bet him I bet him at 30 on Bookmaker.
I got a 28.
Pretty good still. Pretty good still. I think he's actually already gone down on Bookmaker. I'm a huge Mav McNealy fan this week. Now he's Data Golf's #1 value play.
That is an issue.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I am learning how to model a little bit closer to Data Golf. So I'm not surprised. I expected that. There's going to be somewhat more. I'm going to be able to have a better understanding beforehand of some of those guys, and it's been helping me a lot get some CLV on guys. And I have to say, I am not surprised that Hideki is liked quite a bit by Data Golf. I believe that Hideki is Data Golf's number 5 value play. And that is because he has a remarkable short game, and off the tee, both distance and accuracy has historically been devalued here.
I think if you like Mav, we can build with him. I don't think it's an issue. I don't have a lot of fear of missing out if we start Matsuyama today. I think that's fine to do that.
We're playing two guys that are liked quite a bit by both me and Data Golf. I love Spieth 2 stat. I really do love Spieth. But let's put Mav in there. And not worry as much about ownership as ownership, at least for me, has been. Now, I almost wonder if, like, just based on what has screwed us the last 3 weeks, I almost wonder if we put Spieth in there and skip the 8K range just for good measure. So we can't say that the 8K range screwed us again.
I think that's fine.
I mean, do you like Spieth? I never bet Spieth.
So I don't normally, usually I don't. I like him. I don't know what I'm going to end up with. I don't have a lot of FOMO on Ludwig. Really don't have a lot of FOMO on Tommy. I think I want to kind of figure out who's here to win. Maybe do it that way, as silly as that sounds. But I kind of think Spieth wants to win. I think he wants to win a tournament before winning the Masters. I think he's probably here for the right reasons. And, if it gets really tough, it definitely fits. If the course is going to play very difficult, I don't worry about him when it gets kind of clownish. I like him.
Let's put Spieth in there for now and go 3 9Ks, because I love Spieth this week. The thing about Spieth that's interesting is
the best 6K range of the year, probably.
Wow, it's a big statement. Spieth has been not only awesome here, but he's starting to just become like a much more well-rounded golfer. Like, he scores on par 5s. He's got plenty of distance. He's hitting his irons a lot better here. His short game's been really good. He's 85th in around the green percentile, 78th in bunker percentile. His putting's been a lot better. He's been really good on Poa Trivialis. He's coming off an 11th at the Valspar where I cored him. He gained 4.4 off the tee, 1.6 off the tee, 4.4 on approach, gained 1.6 putting. He's top 12 3 out of his last 4 starts. I'm a huge Spieth. Let's still talk about the 8s very briefly.
Yeah.
Sure. But I mean,
you did just say, like, the Spieth stuff, like, he's an adult now. Like, he goes and he just kind of plays. It's not the antics all the time. Like, he goes and he's actually, like, been really good this year, like, consistent in a way that he hadn't in a while. So I like that. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
No, I'm a huge Spieth fan this week. I may bet him still, even though I don't love the number. The 8K range has a lot of guys that I like. Like, I really like Rio. I bet him at 53 to 1 on DraftKings. I love Keith Mitchell this week. I know he's not generally the most loved guy in our Discord because of his inability to close tournaments. I still think he's going to have a great week. Obviously, I'm probably going to go back to Denny, although I'm bummed about the major price increase. I'm a huge fan of Alex Noren. And then obviously, like, I very much understand the love on Yella and Kiefer. I mean, we are big Kiefer guys, but the thing that I've started to notice is, like, I noticed DraftKings did this with Penge, is DraftKings seems to be pricing up the guys that are getting early money on Sunday night. So, like, Penge got a ton of money on Sunday night and they priced him up at 9,100, and Kiefer and Yella were like the two big Sunday nukes on DraftKings. And I think they're overpriced. I mean, Kiefer opened up at 120 to 1 on DraftKings. Yella opened up at 140 to 1 on DraftKings. Even if you think that those guys should be half the price, if they're 70, 80 to 1, they should be in the mid to high sevens. I just think both those guys are a little overpriced. I'm not like running to play either of them at their prices.
You can get Colin Morikawa for $1,400 more. No, I'm not gonna. I don't think I want to play them. I think that there's players in the high sevens that are relatively similar to them, and I think the same about the low sevens compared to the sixes. I think that those ranges blend in terms of ceiling and talent a little bit more than maybe everybody else does this week.
Yeah, I mean, stats not wrong. Yella's playing amazing. Like they're
He's
priced
playing
up
really
for a
well.
reason. Yeah, there. I haven't ruled him out, but I think Spieth is going to be quite popular this week.
We can talk about Denny. I think Denny's
I love Denny
expensive,
too.
but I don't care. He's playing really well.
I love Denny too, and I love Noren and Mitchell as well.
So you could do a couple of things from this point, like depending on what else you liked. Like if there's other plays you like in the sevens, you could finish with 3 of those. You could go to the sixes and get 1 or 2, and then go back and get another high price player. Because I think there's a lot of ways you can go from. I mean, and this is just for anyone watching. This isn't just for us, but like if there's anybody else, like the eights, I'm good with putting Mitchell in this, or you could even take Spieth out. Spieth is if we think we're getting too much ownership, we could definitely get one of these guys in the eights instead of Spieth, or frankly, Nav if we want to like get off of his chalk since we bet him.
I want to keep Mav and Spieth in.
Yeah, if those are the two favorites, we could pull Decky out, but I'm gonna play a lot of Decky.
No, I think we keep our top 3 and just figure out whether we want to go 7K heavy or 7K heavy or add an 8K and a 6K guy. Yeah. I mean, who do you like in the 7K range?
So probably my favorite 3 are actually think Bez looks pretty good this week.
I like Bez.
How about ADDC? Everybody hated him 2 weeks ago. He's playing good though. And
I like
he's good out of bunkers.
I like ADDC too.
And I'm going to go back to my guy, Ricky Katz. I think he's a more well-rounded player than most other people think. I don't think he's all distance anymore. He has a pretty good short game too.
I like Ricky Katz. I think that's a good shout. Let me pull up what he did in Houston real quick. He was T44 in Houston, dirty around the green, horrendous on approach. Good short game and putter, but he's had some success on approach. I don't think that's a huge issue. I like Baz. A couple of the other guys that I would mention that are kind of popping out to me. Meisner was really interesting last week. He played great
this week again too. He's good. He has good bunker numbers.
Yep, I liked Meisner quite a bit. I don't mind Finau 7,400. I think he's like slowly starting to show some more signs. I have some interest in Jaeger at 7,400. I'll go back to Matt Wallace, even though he kind of faded over the weekend. I don't mind Bud's stat either.
Bud's is Mao in the sixes or sevens? I have him.
He's 7K, and I looked at him as well.
Not bad.
Yeah.
No one wants Homa again. One of these weeks. I don't know.
One of these weeks, not for me this week. I don't hate it. I just wouldn't put him in. I like ADDC at 7,100. If you look at
him, his stuff's good.
Yeah, if you look at, he finished 12th last week. He gained 3.9 on approach, 4.2 putting. And then if you look at like more of his longer term profile, I believe Dumont. Yeah, the short game's been pretty solid. He's like very well rounded across the board, actually. And he's got 4 top 30s in a row. He's playing some really solid, consistent golf. I'm down to put ADDC in that lineup.
Let's do ADDC in this one. I think he's one of my favorite plays of the week.
Medium Jaeger bookmaker nuke. Thank you, RK. That's intriguing.
Port Royal T3 for ADDC. That's one of the
in high winds, huh?
Well, that's why I like it as a comp. Also, another course where Peter Malnati T10 on a really windy year.
Has Peter Malnati actually played well here?
I don't. Let me check. I don't think so. Peter Malnati. I doubt it. No.
I know how the data golf course fit works. Like I know how they calculated it. I wouldn't really put that much stock into him being Santu green.
2016 T13 Valero, 2019 T23.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Okay, so we have ADDC in, and that leaves us 74, 75, 50 left.
Danny?
Well, I was going to say we could put Jaeger in there and then finish
Jaeger's
off
good
with,
too.
Yeah, we could put Jaeger in there and then finish off with, we have 7,700 left.
That's Ricky Katz. But if you don't like him that much,
I do like Ricky Katz.
Jordan L. Smith, I'm probably going to play again this week.
No, me too. But I like Ricky Katz more than Jordan. I think. Yeah. Actually, let me double check on that.
I don't hate Penge flop lag. I think his short game stinks though. That's the problem. But we don't
I might like Smith more than I like Katz.
I like Smith. If you're gonna, he's good at U.S. Opens also. Like he had like a T22 at a U.S. Open.
So if you put Smith in there, I think that's an interesting lineup. Hideki, yes. Mav, Spieth, ADDC, Jaeger, Smith.
So
it's going to be super chalky.
Yeah, I don't either.
Not that super chalky's been bad the last couple of weeks.
It has.
I don't know why Bud WD last week, T-Stacks.
So my question to you is, do you know any of the chalk in the sevens? Because I have no idea who people are going to play in the sevens.
Let me take a look. I'm usually pretty good at predicting this, but I don't do it.
No one bet anybody today, so we don't know what happened.
Who do I think is going to be popular in the sevens?
Finau.
Finau, maybe.
McGreevy.
Maybe.
I can't tell you. I looked, I was like, I don't know who the chalk is. I usually know immediately, like one or two chalk pieces.
Right. I don't think that there's gonna be like anything disgusting in the sevens. And there hasn't been. Yeah. There really hasn't been last week. Like if you think about the two of the higher owned guys in the sevens last week, it was Woodland and Yella, and they were great. And neither of them were like disgusting chalk either, by the way.
There's a lot of good stuff in the sixes, but I think I'm going to save that for the Discord.
Well, let's talk about
a couple.
Yeah, let's talk about a couple.
I'll share a couple.
Give a couple.
You put your mouse on Putnam. It's fine. I think like Putnam's fine. He's an asshole, but SH Kim rates out.
Of course. Love SH Kim. How could I not?
Fisk. I just think he's better than most people think he is. His short game's pretty good.
I like Fisk too. I'm pretty aligned with you thus far.
Rio.
Nope.
No? Okay.
Not there on Grail. I was with you on the first couple.
Eric Cole?
Yeah. With you on that one.
Bo Hostler.
On that one.
Maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, God. I wish Valimaki was better, but he's not. He's bad right now.
Not with you and Valimaki. But
how about David Lipsky from 2 weeks ago?
Kyle likes him. I don't know. You guys can do the
Valspar comp. Anyways, my point being, you could take whatever we have here. You can play Fleetwood and Aberg together pretty comfortably with some of these guys in the sixes. And I don't actually think there's that much difference between like most of the guys at 7K and all the names I listed.
Oh, easily. Without
So
a doubt.
it's a decent 6K range. You can sell yourself on some slimy stuff. And I think it's fine this week.
Josh likes Olsen. Josh has hit 3 outrights in a row. Did you know that?
Yes, I congratulated him before he came on the show today.
It's pretty sick.
Because
ISN's been really hot. Speaking of
Yes.
which, do you want to we are not doing well, maybe we'll do a promo for the Masters. We're doing pretty well. So
yeah,
we may not discount, but we're definitely we want to start doing some giveaways already because
Yes.
we're already starting to get into Master season. So this was your idea. I thought it was very generous for you to do. You're putting up your own money for this, which is very kind. But if you sign up for ISN this week for a monthly, Bryan will upgrade you to a yearly. So essentially, if you sign up for a month, you will get a free year. Not every single person that signs up for a month, he's going to pick one, but usually like we get signups in big waves. Like there's often on a week like Valero, there's not a lot of people that are like signing up for Inside Sports on a Monday through Wednesday. So you wanted to do it on a quieter week like this. So you know that the people had a much better opportunity to get a free year. So yeah, if you sign up for a month, Bryan will upgrade you to a year. Honestly, Mayday brings up a really good point. Why wouldn't any monthly sub just want to unsub to get this?
We're raffling. I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that question. That's
we wanted to do it for this show. So if you're listening to this show, it's kind of not too much work though, because you just cancel and then re-sign up this week, and then you get well, it has to be the people that are listening to this show. So if you sign up for Inside Sports this week, we have an email. I have an email tracker, so I'll be able to. When do you want to put the cutoff date? Wednesday, Ball Nerds After Dark.
Next week?
Yeah, this week.
Oh, 2 days? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, between Monday and Wednesday.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, before the tournament starts.
We'll take a list of some registered signups, and
that's kind of it. You're totally allowed to do that though if you want to do it. It's a pretty good deal. I was really, honestly, genuinely surprised when Bryan said it. So basically, just to reiterate, if you sign up for Inside Sports Network for a month in the next 2 days before Wednesday at like 9 p.m. or whenever we do our show, on Thursday, we will put all those people in a raffle, and one of those people will get upgraded to a free year courtesy of Bryan. And if you lose, then you can cancel, and you will have paid for a month, and you will have paid for the Masters, which is, I promise you will not
once you're in, you're not leaving.
Yeah. I think you'll be very happy with what we've got going on, but a free year is like a month compared to a free year. It's over a $300 value. So that's very generous, Bryan. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Anything else with Valero, or you want to talk Project Hail Mary?
No, I'm pretty good on Valero. I still don't really know what I'm doing yet, but I'm tempted to go hog wild in the 6K. So,
or should we talk a little Masters update at all? Have you made any bets for the Masters?
I am on ROM 14, and I am on a Fitzpatrick 100. I have Brooks 60.
Oh, so you've been future betting. I never future bet the Masters.
I bet ROM like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, Mayday, you can ask away, by the way. We can circle back.
Yeah.
I'm really going to dive into it this weekend.
Yeah.
Stat, I'm not. It's really like,
I wish
the thing that's really difficult is I've had the weeks where I go to, like, I went to the Masters 2 years ago when I was at Run Pure Sports, and it was really fun. But the thing, and I am still doing it at the US Open this year, where I'm going to go to the Shinnecock practice rounds and stuff. But it's really difficult for me to like be on the course a lot on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and still be able to do all of my ownership commitments and like download all of the information that I need to do on a given week. So generally, like I haven't been outside of Shinnecock, which is just really convenient for me because my dad lives really close to the golf course. I didn't really like try and go this year, and that's going to change in the future because when I went 2 years ago, it was one of the best experiences of my life. But the thing that's tricky about the Masters is you can't have a phone there. So like when you're out on the course, like I remember I was running around there with like writing down things in a little notebook, which is really cool, by the way, but it's a very difficult tournament to like do all of the shit that I need to do in a given week on Masters week and like be in the Discord answering people's questions. We're doing like
that's a
a bunch of
I didn't think about that.
extra shows this week, a bunch of stuff with Inside Sports Network. So it's hard for me when I'm like don't have a phone all day at the golf course. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
I'm gonna probably try and switch that up and make an effort to go next year because it's just so unreal. Have you ever been?
I'm dying to go. My
Are
wife's
you
dying
going
to go.
stat? Because if you live in Atlanta, then it's not that far. When I went in 2023, I met my dad in Atlanta. We went together. I flew into Atlanta, and then we drove from Atlanta to Augusta. And it was a really short drive.
Yeah. It's like what, 2.5 hours?
There's also some really good golf in the area.
I'm sure.
The shirt I'm wearing, Tree Farms, in that vicinity. If you're going and you want to play Tree Farm, hit me up. I'm happy to help arrange that. It's a great spot. You've gone 10 plus times. That's unreal, dude. It's awesome. Yeah. It's not exactly cheap. I will say that.
No, I bet it's not. And that's
It's
the
not
thing. Like if we
it's
did
not
it,
exactly cheap. And you want to know what's also interesting about the Masters? Not that I've tried. I've been pretty lazy with like attempting to get credentialed at places
I can't imagine.
with ISN because I just like it's very hard for me to travel. So I haven't really felt the need to or tried. Masters is like notoriously anti-gambling. I know that for a fact. They're like very, very notorious. Like all those people that you see at like TGL, like how TGL is like embracing gambling. None of those people are getting credentialed at the
I
Masters.
mean, it's kind of I think it's where the sport's headed, but
I agree, but the
from a
Masters is
spectation
kind of
standpoint.
and listen, that could change. I hope it does. Knowing that is why I haven't even tried. But that could change. That could change even this year,
Yeah.
like in the in the upcoming years. There has been widespread. I remember when I started working at Golf Digest as an intern. That was my first job in the industry in COVID. I was an intern at Golf Digest when I graduated college. It was my first job in the industry, how I started doing this. And when I started, they were just starting to be okay with covering gambling. And now I've been covering gambling for Golf Digest for 5 years straight. And they even have way more people covering gambling for them. It's a big part of their thing. They have like a deal with BetSperts or something. They're like super into it now. And when in COVID, when I started, they were like, just like, should we have a gambling column? Should we include it? It's like, yeah, probably should. The way that things are trending.
People always ask me at my country club, like who who's winning next week or something like that. And they don't like, I tell them who I'm on and who I'm betting and stuff like that.
I think one and done's really big too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of casual people that just play one.
You just go into my country club the week of the Masters or whatever they have, and I always forget to do it. They do like the draft 1, draft 2, draft 3. It's basically DFS on paper.
Here's what I'll say. I'm really bullish on PGA Tour gambling in DFS. I think it's really fun. Like
it's one of the best sweats in sports. It's not even close.
You get so much out of it. Like golf is on
great too. Yeah.
Golf is on for 4 days straight for a psycho like me that loves tracking. You get to track your players for 8 hours, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And yeah, I mean, as Josh said, like when you're Josh and you're hitting, 3 outrights in a row, the hoop looks pretty big, but I know he says that tongue in cheek, but to be honest with you, like, okay, like a guy that's 30-1 in golf, I don't think people realize how fucking ridiculous of an NFL parlay you would have to concoct to get to 30-1. And it's like people hit
so many legs.
People hit 30-1 winners on the PGA Tour all the time. Woodland was 100-1. If you wanted to hit 100-1 parlay in NFL gambling, would you have to parlay the entire slate together correctly? Like it's a lot. It feels a lot more attainable in golf, even if that's a pipe dream, because I don't have data to back that up, but it feels that way in golf. Like it really feels like, because I think that there's a lot of guys every week that like legitimately don't have a chance to win. And with how good data is, generally we're going to like, usually most weeks, like I have an outright somewhere close to the top of the board. And if I was to have an NFL parlay, like, it just doesn't really work that way. Okay. Can you talk about Yella? How do your stats look on him? Yes, his ARG numbers are tough, but I feel like he could just be good at golf. Okay. Yella, for me, I have him 30th in my modeling. Very, very good driver of the ball. Very good approach player. Around the green is the weakness. Very, very good putter as well. Where he gets hurt, a couple of things that he gets hurt in my numbers that don't make him a little bit higher. No course history. I think it's tough to come here with no course history. I don't remember who the last first time winner here is, but I can go back and effort that.
I think Steve said it's Stephen Bowditch.
Yeah.
Or something like
Bunker
that. It's been a while.
He's been really, really good at par fives also, which I think is encouraging. Yella is like statistically, like there's really nothing. There's really nothing on Yella outside of short game and course history. And I think those two things are both very important. I think there are things that are good reasons if you are looking to get off of a guy, of like saying that they have no course history or saying that they don't have a good short game. I think those are very valid reasons to get off of a guy. But again, Yella is so good at everything else right now that he can finish top 20 here, losing a couple of strokes around the green without a doubt.
Yeah, that's a kind of play to me where it's like he's just good at golf. Like it would be aside from any sort of course fit. It's a lot to pay for him. You were paying, and I know he's a better player than this, but you were paying like low 7, 69, 65, whatever it was, and now he's 8,100. So I think he's fine. I don't want to play him if he's chalky. That's like not somebody that I'm going to trust the chalk on, personally.
Yella, I haven't decided yet. I may play him, I may not.
He's definitely undecided for me because, like, you're right. The irons are great. He's a really good driver. kind of works most places. Like even if it's, you know,
Yeah. Real quick on Project Hail Mary. What'd you think?
yeah, I really liked it a lot the second I walked out of it, and I still really like it a lot. I think it's not as good as Interstellar. It's, I mean, it did kind of give me the vibes of like a guy who wanted to make like a Kubrick movie, um, but maybe not like all the way there.
I didn't
But
read the book, Stat. Did you? My fiance read the book, and she
I read his
loved the
other
movie,
I read his other one.
The Martian.
So yeah, so I think Andy Weir is an amazing writer.
Yeah.
I think the strength of the movie was the plot more than anything. I just think the guy's really clever and talented, and I think he's truly like smart enough to write a character that is a world level genius and stuff like that. But I liked it a lot. I do think my opinion's kind of like teetering a little on it, but
Yeah.
I liked it a fair amount. I like stuff
A
like
lot
that.
of
Though, in
this is
general.
like the weight of expectation for me is like,
Yeah,
this movie is doing amazing. It's a big deal. It's going to get nominated for an Oscar. It's being considered like a generationally great movie. It's in the top 100 all time on Letterboxd. And so a lot of like my criticism is probably the weight of expectation. Like it is getting compared to, I would say, the three modern, like great space movies of the last 25 years are Gravity, Interstellar, and Arrival. And I
yeah,
didn't like
okay.
it as much as either of those three movies.
No,
Arrival to me,
yeah, Arrival's really good.
Arrival to me is one of my favorite movies of the last 25 years. And like what I think is so good about Arrival is it really explores like in a very emotionally resonant way, like the concept of human connection and
Yes.
the concept of language and like what it real and Interstellar does this too. Interstellar is like
Yes.
very good at like exploring the questions of like, why are we on this planet? Like, what are we doing here? What is the value of a human life? And what would it look like in the case of, particularly like really in the case of Arrival, is like, what are we doing on this planet? And how do we look if an alien life form like came on this planet? How would they view
Yes.
human life and how would we view them? Which are like
Yes.
really daring, interesting, like heady themes. And a lot of times, like in the case of both Interstellar and Arrival, like they're really trying to expound upon like human connection and love, right? And like in Interstellar, that movie is really to its core about like what if love is, it sounds really corny to say it, but like
Anne Hathaway.
basically the answer is like, what if what if our purpose is human connection? What if our
Yeah.
purpose on this planet is love? And I just think that Project Hail Mary like handled that matter like in a pretty vapid like way. Like I just didn't think that I thought it was like a little bit of a lowest common denominator movie. And when I say lowest common denominator movie, I think it was created to like please the most amount of people possible. I think it was a very safe movie. And I'm not saying that
Yes.
it needed to be like as transgressive as fucking Eyes Wide Shut, but
No.
it felt to me like there's a big moral quandary at the center of the movie, which is Ryan Gosling was basically like drugged to get onto his mission
I
against
did
his
not
will.
read the book, and when they flashed to that, I was like, "Holy!"
The lock market,
I
we
thought that
literally
was
just did
so
50
hilarious.
minutes on golf. Like, like we're clearly just talking about this at the very end of the show. There's 50 minutes of golf picks right before we talk about
I
this.
think like the genius part of the way that he does both that and The Martian, and I've actually been curious to read the book now, um, is the structure where it's like a Russian nesting doll where like you see something and then it recontextualizes the entire 2 hours that you saw before. I always think that stuff's just kind of clever and it gets me every time.
I
It's Chris
wanted,
Nolan light, is what I will say. It's Chris Nolan light. It's a pretty good version of a Chris Nolan light. Like
yeah,
Chris Nolan.
I didn't think that this was as like visually on the level of a Nolan or Cuarón movie. I mean, like
No,
Gravity, I think that Gravity was like way more visually arresting. And
uh,
Gravity is not like a deep movie in the same way that Arrival and Interstellar are
no,
deep movies. Um, but Gravity was like a tight, concise 90
yes.
minutes. Like it was a
It's nice
banger.
having a movie like that where it's only 2 hours.
Yeah, this was quite long. I thought it could have been a little shorter. And they didn't really have a ton of interest in like exploring the question at the center of the movie to me, which
Yeah.
is like Ryan Gosling's challenge and struggle of like, does he want to do this? Why is he doing this, knowing that
No,
he's going to die? Maybe they
you do
talk
feel
about
a
that
little
more.
you do feel a little robbed of it,
I just didn't
finding
feel
out
like
that he
there was a
didn't want
lot
to
of
be there.
I just didn't feel like there was a lot of time spent exploring like the inner dialogue of why Ryan Gosling was there and how he felt about the mission. And maybe you
Yeah,
get more of that in the book.
you
I thought the
probably do.
stuff with like, I thought he's really talented at physical comedy and like
Yes.
the stuff that he does with Rocky is like really funny. And there's some like, he's really a talented actor to be able to carry a movie on his shoulders like that for so long. But I don't know. I kind of wanted a little more depth. And
Yeah.
I know it's a popcorn movie,
If
so
you
maybe I
it
shouldn't have
is
been
a
accepting
it is pro so I think like what I liked it, and I would say that is probably my version of like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not gonna go see like people like Marvel because they want to be entertained, I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna do Mission Impossible Fallout, which I will argue to the death is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. Mission Fallout.
Fallout is insane.
Anyway,
Um,
we gotta hustle. Brian's gotta do TIB and all that stuff.
yeah. Join the Discord. You will not regret it. There will be some nasty 6K plays in there that I will be rostering this week.
To reiterate, if you sign up for the month between Monday and Wednesday, you will receive a message from Brian or I or Josh on Thursday, whether you have the ability to get a free year of ISN.
We will randomize it or something.
Yeah. I don't think it will be that many people as well because this isn't like a massive show, and we really wanted it to be for the listeners.
People for the fans.
Awesome. All right. Cheers, Brian. Have a great week. And next week, we'll see you at the Masters.
I'll be here.